Dear Lord, we thank you for this day and for bringing us all here safely tonight. If it is your will, we ask that you show us the way and guide us in making the decisions for the betterment of our village. In closing, dear Lord, we thank you for another day of life, all the creations you have placed here for us to enjoy, and especially for our American flag blowing in the breeze to remind us of our freedom. In God's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, I get to play with it. Okay, Matt, how about a roll call, please?
Councilman Otten.
Here.
Councilman Bishop.
Here.
Councilman Herschel.
Here.
Councilman Henry.
Here.
Mayor Junkins.
Here.
Councilman Sassine.
Here.
Recorder Sassine. Here. Councilman Snyder.
Here.
And Councilman Weisner.
Here.
Okay, I hope you all have a copy of our June 22, 2021 minutes before you. At this time, I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes of June 22, 2021 as presented.
So move. Second.
Any questions or corrections on the motion? If there be no corrections, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you. The other thing, we missed the bus here last weekend and everything. And there's a copy of Russ Fair's June 2021 monthly report on your, should be in front of your place here. Our accountant Jamie's not here tonight. I don't think she has anything to present to us, or she didn't contact me about it. Excuse me. I got a frog in my throat, so I'm going to get him out. So, okay, next we'll go into the mayor's report.
Hey, Don.
First,
Hey, Don. I just have one thing tonight.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I?
No, you're fine. The next meeting will be on Monday, July 19th, 2021, and that's all I have.
That's fine. Thanks. I'm sorry. I see there is a place for a recorder's report after the approval of the minutes. Sorry.
No worries at all.
I guess I'm getting ahead of the bus here. On Tuesday, June 23, and Wednesday, June 24, I've been monitoring the village's water line near 180 Ridgecrest Road because of a slight water leak. It was a very small stream of water at the time. However, Wednesday evening, I received a call from our police officer on duty around 8 o'clock that the leak became worse. Supervisor Ben was notified to call out our crew. The reason we did not address this matter sooner, our street crew was busy with a sanitary sewer problem on Mount Lebanon Drive. Our crew completed this water repair at 2:30 on Thursday morning on the 24th. Then Wednesday, the next day, our crew was working on a sanitary sewer problem. Oh no, that's on the same day. At the rear of 108 Mount Lebanon Drive, along with Robinson Pipe Cleaning. We had to get them down here because they have the high pressure pumps. At the same time, there was another sanitary sewer problem that occurred down on Fairmont Avenue, which required Robinson's high pressure pump. So when they got done with one, they went down to the other. It was the worst first situation. The sanitary sewer problem on Mount Lebanon Drive, and the one then on Fairmont before we addressed the water break on Ridgecrest Road. Well, next day, on Thursday, the 24th of June, approximately 8 o'clock at night, I received a call from our police officers on duty. There was a water break at, I've got me going around here, at 34 Chapel Road. Again, we contacted Ben and he contacted our retired village crew to address this problem. Both water breaks, both water breaks required 2 police officers stationed at both ends of the village crew while they performed the repairs. The village crew concluded their work at 3 a.m. on Friday. So that's like we had 2 days in a row. So basically Friday the crew was basically didn't bring them out because working till 3 in the morning, 2:30 the previous morning and 3 in the morning, the fatigue factor set in. Then Monday on June the 28th, the following, I had an on-site meeting at Roger Kent's project, the former Ernie's or Woodview, where he has started to construct several condos. He's got 3 of them up already. In attendance were Roger Kent, Jack Tush, Ben Gilbert, Kenny Wharton, and myself to review just what Roger's plans and intentions were. After reviewing verbal intentions, which change constantly, and walking the site, which revealed that he has moved tons of dirt around, and also there's a dozer that was working while we talked. After concluding most of the questions and answer, I advised Roger Kemp that he needs to submit his plans in writing and apply for a building permit along with the necessary information, subcontractors and the like, to the village office. It was a hot day there. There was dozer was working around, and I've never seen so much earth moved. In fact, there was a big tree up close to the backside of Elm Lane, and it was a big shade tree, and I think that's going to come down. But luckily we staged underneath the tree for a while to get out of the sun. But I just didn't understand him, because as we were viewing different things, he was changing this and changing that, and wanting this and wanting that. You know, it's kind of a slippery, I shouldn't maybe make his contact, but he was, you know, wanting the village to do a lot of things for him, which he should be doing. But then at the end, I don't think he liked when I told him, hey, you need to submit your plans to the village here. So I, of course, haven't heard anything. I will follow up on that. On Friday, July 2, the village had their annual fireworks display performed by American Fireworks Company. It was rain and go for a while. However, after the final short rain, the clouds cleared. Music was provided by DJ Trey Dunleavy, along with 2 other vendors selling snacks, treats, candy cotton, and the products that appear at festivals. There was a nice crowd, and the lucky 50-50 winner was Brandy Store, whose winnings were around $1,307. Aaron, you probably know that I don't have just what it was around. The fireworks were well received by the crowd and surrounding neighborhoods. On Thursday, July 1, 2021, Ernie Scott, one of our street crew members, resigned and started working a new job that is closer to his residence in Glendale, West Virginia. On July 6, 2021 today, Ernie was a hard worker and did most of the village's welding on our Christmas decorations and storage racks. Ernie started with the village back in March 18, 2019. Also, I got a memo from Ben today, and just to go over a few things, that HP Contracting is and has been working for us on a residence down on Maple Lane. That's something we started on over a year ago, and we got into trouble there because we ran out of weather, and you can't run a rubber tired backhoe down there. So we used Kenny to take his track hoe down there, and he provided the labor, we provided the pipe. He put in flexible black sewer pipe and a larger pipe than what was down there. There was an old metal pipe that they took out and finally got that put away. Today, Ben was mainly, he said he spent collecting the last of the rereads of the physical meters, or double checking readers that did not collect their during drive-by. Now, I don't know if that's kind of news to me when it says drive-by. I don't think that system's up yet because the girls are still, as of late today, we're getting training from, there are usually two of them at a time, a site on one computer, and it's back and forth. So I don't understand that. But he said we were also, Ben said we also focused on cleaning up the park after the event Friday. Ron and I were out Saturday morning to collect the garbage, but today was more about cleaning up the heaps of debris left behind the fireworks on the trails out there. Tomorrow we need to complete a project of getting the house at Michael's Way back in proper service. We had to put in on pause and to prepare for the festivals on Friday, so the plan for tomorrow, barring any emergencies. One of the houses down there, we have a large septic tank down there, and something Ben said happened to one of them, so I don't know how he fixed it temporarily, but it seems like every time we get started on a project, we have interference. On Friday, we went to clean up more of a slip occurred on the lower end of Westgate heading up to Prior Kiff Apartments. At a convenient time, I want to go back and get more work and complete this area fully resolved for potential for the continued slips and slides. Hot patch asphalt is on his agenda for as early as this week, as well as which is long overdue. We've had water breaks which we have to cover over and fix, potholes, overlays, and repairs to complete with many loads of asphalt. Also, I mentioned earlier about Ernie Fox leaving us. So far, I've received 2 applications, and the third one's to come in later this week. If you know anybody that's interested in working on their street crew, I'd entertain their application. What they started this morning, this is something I mentioned to Ben probably back in the last of May. I said when the weather gets hot and humid, and we've done this before, you can change your start time. So what he did this morning, he started them at 6 o'clock instead of the normal 7:30. So they'll work at 6 o'clock to 2:30. He says we can expect that for the next month or a little longer. When the sun rises a little later in the morning, it forces us to return to normal start times or another modified time. It's kind of nice. The sun's up usually at 5:30 now, and it's good. They can get more work done without having to sweat too much. That's all that I have from Ben here. Let's move into other officers' reports. TC, do you have anything to report tonight?
I have nothing, Mayor.
Okay. And we have the police chief's report, which we passed around early at the meeting. Let's go to committee reports. Recreation, Aaron?
Nothing this evening.
Okay. Bobby, anything on police?
Nothing.
Okay. Roads and streets, Tommy and Steve, I'm going to bring up under new business. I have my completion of the paving and everything. I got a letter back from the engineer, and he's picked out the low bidder. Cass and Baker do meet our. So what I was wanting to talk to 2 of you about is when, because I have paperwork yet that I've got to send back and forth to the contractor, but at the same time, somewhere along the line, one of the pieces of paper is when we want to start, and so I'd like to have input from council and from the 2 road streets, you guys. Zoning, Mark, Cecile?
Nothing.
Okay.
Question on zoning.
Yes.
You had mentioned that we were asking Roger for the list of subcontractors. Is that standard practice, or do we usually just get the general contractor?
We get the general and the subs, and
Okay.
then the girls send out. They want. They
We
send
keep
out
those on file?
Oh, yeah, that's, we have those
That's-
on file. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Well, that's a valid question and everything, but we've had some slippery characters here, and you have to go after them and go after them again, and I'm going to get Matt involved in a few because well, before I turn them over basically to our solicitor, I like give it the old college try first and try to get it resolved. Okay.
Do the ordinances allow fines if these guys are breaking our laws? or-
Well, some of them just get started and they go, you know, they more or less do this to you or work around you or ignore you. I've had one guy that I've had down here at the office and he told me numerous times he'd come down. Well, then I made the mistake of telling him, showing him different forms. We have a building license, which is an annual deal on a fiscal year basis, which the girls send out to you. We have B&O forms, which go out quarterly, which the girls send out to you. But I said, when it comes to a building permit, we don't send those out. You gotta come to us and fill in the blanks, so to speak. Well, they haven't heard from him. He said he'd take care of it, but that's not the first time he said he would and didn't. Okay. Is there anything under old business to come up before council tonight? If there's nothing under old business, nothing under old, okay.
I can speak to that Pinner House. I did find out some
Oh, okay.
information about
Okay,
it.
one of us.
So I won't bore you with all the details, but basically because of the virus, the Federal Housing Authority has these rules and regulations in place that you can't evict, you can't sell, and you can't foreclose because of the hardships that COVID has caused. So basically, in a nutshell, that's why they're not doing anything with the property. So if you want any more information, I can expand upon it, but that's kind of where we're at.
Yeah.
But hasn't it already been foreclosed on? There's nobody living there and.
No, as far as I know, Tim, this has not been foreclosed, so.
I did see an ad in the paper, which you see from time to time when they foreclose on property. That property went up for bid, basically, usually for taxes and everything. But Randy mentioned last time, and I don't know exact details, but there is a large lien on that house, and that's why they can't sell. No, you gotta pay the lien off before you can take title to the house. That's what the attorneys do in a title search. They'll find out for you, tell you yay or nay.
And there is a company who's paying the taxes. It's in the assessors, if you look on the assessor's website.
Yeah.
And I researched that company and they seem to be legit. In fact, I placed a call to them, and because I'm not a family, she couldn't discuss much. So, but that's really why they're not making any movement or progress on it. But Biden extended the deadline 2 times now. So at the earliest possible time that something could be done would be August 1st or January 1st of next year. So we might not have anything done until the end of the year or beginning of next year.
Kind of like a white elephant.
That's all.
Thank you. Okay, well, going to new business, I got a couple of things here. Something I started reading a couple meetings ago. Usually the first meeting in July is the revision of the 2021-2022 general fund and all funds budget. And I'd like to make a motion, and I would ask for a second, that we authorize Accountant Jamie Shaw to amend the village's general and all funds budget for the fiscal year 2021-2022 to reflect the actual cash on hand July 1, 2021, and file the necessary paperwork with the State Tax and Revenue Department. So I would like to make a motion, and I'd like to have a second.
I'll second that.
Okay, thank you. Okay, is there any question on the motion? There be no question. This is an annual thing that I used to do all the time when I was recorder. John Hanningsworth embedded that in my mind. He needed that information. And when they make the budget out in March, and they come with the cash on hand July 1, they're just a matter of maybe a couple bucks out. They're really accurate at what they do. So, okay, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you. The next thing I have is I mentioned about the road paving bids for summer 2021, and you all should have had a copy of this sent around. The low bidder was Cast and Baker Corporation out of Cannonsburg, and their grand total for the 3 areas, Poplar Lane, Sugar Lane, Walnut Avenue, was $137,712.50. That's $137,712.50. And what I'd like to have is a motion from council to proceed with awarding this paving bid to Castor and Baker based on our homework that we did.
I'll make a motion.
Second. Good, Lauren.
That don't matter.
Okay, the motion's been made and seconded. Is there any question on the motion? If there be no question on the motion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you. I'll get started with sending the necessary paperwork out to the contractor.
Are we considering to do this in the fall of the year?
We don't have to tell them right now, but one of the
okay.
things that I want to get paperwork back and forth, I want to get on there. Say if we want to do it like we did last time in September, this way we tell them we want to do it in September because other jobs coming in, a lot of them like to do it, in the summertime, that's fine. But our train up here is, a lot of it's on hillside, and you do it on the hillside where you have that train, people are parking on it the next day, next thing you do, you get ruts in it when it's real hot. In September, normally you have warm days and cool nights, and the cool nights help cure the asphalt. So, that's something for you to think about.
Okay.
That's been my suggestion, but, that's what the council's for. Another thing I have, I've been talking to Erin, and she went out to two electrical contractors, Herb and Yon. And I don't know if you take notice in the park, at the putt-putt course, we have two white now. We just painted them white. We had a piece of equipment in, and the crew painted white, because I didn't notice it. I knew they were gonna do it, but one day, there's these nice new white poles. Anyway, Herb got back, evidently Yon is not gonna bid on, they bid two ways. They were going to either just put some some LED lights in the existing fixtures. Each pole has four fixtures up there, and they wanted like $2,000 to do just that. But after looking at things and doing some homework, they were going to put in 8 new lights fixtures on the existing poles to replace them. And this is what and for the amount of $2,990. And I'd like to have a motion made to award a bid to Herb Electric for furnishing, and I can give you the numbers. They don't know anything to me, but there's 8 of them because there's 4 in each figure. It's an RAB X34-195 LSF/U lights on the existing poles, and the poles will look nice. And maybe one of these days, I think the paint's going to help hold it together a little bit longer. But I was hoping that we could have maybe done this before the fireworks and everything lit up the putt-putt course. So, but anyway, I would like to have a motion from council.
Just got one question on that. Is that gonna be a light switch or a timer?
I think it's going to be a light switch, because that's what the lights were previously on the switch.
Just who's there to turn it on?
They actually don't say anything here, but
I'm saying, Don, because who's there to turn it on, turn it off?
yeah. In other words, when they have an event or something, they flip it on, and there's a new panel. That's another story in the small shoulder up there. I don't know who's done what, but anyway, we're getting set it up for the fireworks and everything. The vendors came in. Well, this one vendor, I don't know what voltage he needed, but years ago when I was doing work up there, I put receptacles in, and I made the mistake of putting them down below. Then I started, and I've got one right up to the ceiling. Well, vendors that come, they can get up to it, but what happens, the kids get up there, they bust off the covers, and they just desecrated things. It's just like it seems like we're missing a lot of golf clubs and golf balls. People steal them. It's unreal. And I know a lot of retired people who played golf donated their clubs here to us. They're gone. And I know Aaron keeps some in the closet there, where keeps the balls and clubs and everything what is needed. But it's just. But anyway, getting back to the. Ronnie got into the panel up there because what happened, this guy hooked into one of the outlets on the outside, and Ronnie put a new Bakelite cover on there because it was dangerous, because it was, all you had to do is let your finger touch one of the things and it lit up your hair. So anyway, Ronnie opened the panel up, and he said, somebody switched around. We have 2 breakers that have 30 amp, but that's what these guys needed. So he switched around. This guy was ready to pull out. He started unloading. The guy that was selling the bit larger of the 2 vendor. They started loading their stuff and getting out because they didn't have any electricity. Well, then Ronnie got it done and we say, hey, where you got electric now? So they stayed because of that. But
Hey, Don, what was the quote from Yon?
Thank you.
what was what?
The quote from Yon.
They didn't bid.
They didn't
They
quote.
did not bid? Okay.
They did not quote. And,
I'll make that motion to accept the bid.
I'll second that motion to accept the bid from Herb
good,
Electric.
thank you. Okay, there's been a motion made to engage Herb Electric in furnishing and install 8 new lamps on the existing poles for an amount of $2,990. Any question on the motion?
Just a quick, on Bob said, do we want them dusted on all the time, every single night?
I
You
would-
have to get that straight with them.
Okay.
Well,
there's no-
they're not redoing that. They're just doing, right now.
But what do we want?
Well, right now, it's just on a switch.
Yeah, they're on a switch right now, so I understand, right?
Right.
They're-
We can do that in the
You can
future.
replace that with a timer.
You can put them on a photo eye and still have the switch where you
Yeah.
leave that switch on, it'll come on dusk or dawn,
Right,
and
and
if
then
you
you can
don't,
shut it off so
you
you
have
have
to
the
manually
electric.
hit
That
the
was my
switch.
point, who's gonna, when you gonna use it?
I mean, I got, that's how I got
Just
the
one
one
or
in front
two
of my
times a
house, I
year.
got it on a switch, but
So they can turn it off when they don't want it on.
when you don't want it
On
on,
regular,
yeah.
regular nights,
you leave it
otherwise
on,
it's
it'll
on.
just go
Well,
on
this is
dusk or
something I ought to
dawn.
look into. I don't know how good the switches are that are there. I think they go right into the panel, so you just have to flip the breaker.
Why don't we make a motion to have the contractor install that while he's here? Because
Yes.
getting them here is kind of the more expensive part of the project, so.
Well, back
If
to-
council's okay with that, I think that would be
Shouldn't
wise
be
to
that
do.
much different.
What if, I
Where's
don't
the
like to
photo
see the
op?
lights on through the night for no good reason,
Right.
in my opinion.
That's what I'm thinking,
Yeah.
who's gonna be here?
Where would the photo op be? At the switch or somewhere
Photo eye
around
would be on the light,
on the
the
light?
switch would be
That's-
coming out of
that's
the
some extra
panels.
well, they could splice in there and get to that.
Yeah, just like
Two
the
poles.
switch rig you got on it.
Maybe you can prove X amount of money here to put photo eyes on and see how, much it is.
I don't know what them, I don't know exactly what they look like. Sometimes they just got that cap on there that doesn't have the photo eye in it, so
Yeah.
it doesn't operate
So-
that way, but it's the exact same setup, it's just got
Well, similar to your street lights, so when that
exact.
cell, when that photo cell goes, you don't get lights.
What if we did a timer, once you turn it on, you get so many hours, and then no matter what, it shuts off?
I think
Well, you could put,
you could do
5
that.
hours a night.
that'd be an extra, you put that right by your panel.
We can do that.
You could do
I'm
that.
just afraid they're gonna stay on, someone's gonna flip the switch, the photo light's gonna kick in, it'll stay on all night till dusk, or
Yeah.
till dawn.
For 2 weeks till
It-
someone knows.
Exactly. I'd rather just have the timer, that way
Have the
you're
timer.
guaranteed that,
Yeah.
Yeah, you can adjust them.
yeah,
This park
exactly.
closes at a
So
certain hour.
you have to turn it on.
Yeah, usually at dusk.
That's
Right.
good.
Yeah.
So we want it to, they want it to where you have to turn it on, and it'll also have a timer, 5 or 6 hour timer. Otherwise, it's off.
So if that's what council wants, you want
Save
a
electric.
timer and a
What do you
switch
think,
both?
Tom?
Yeah, I mean, I'd get them to give you a price water up there at least, I mean.
Let's go back and find out what that'll be. I don't think it's gonna be that much more. so-
Do we wanna pre-approve so
I think
much so they
so.
don't have to come
If
back?
it's under 1,000, you don't have
If
to.
it's under 1,000, Dawn, you can just,
Yeah, you don't have to
Yeah, I
pre-approve.
don't think it's gonna be that much.
Right, so there's no need for council to pre-approve. We need to vote to approve the funding of the light fixtures, and then you're authorized to spend an additional $999.99.
If it's
No,
more
I'm
than
sure it
that,
won't be
we
that.
have
Then we have to
back out
vote on
anyhow.
it, yeah.
Yeah, okay,
Shouldn't be that much,
okay.
right?
well,
So we need a vote.
We're ready to vote on this, okay. All those in favor with the proposal, as I've said, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Oh, same sign. Motion carried, thank you. Yes, I will get into that about getting the timer on there and the switch so that we can control our destiny. Okay, I think that's about all I have. Is anybody else
I
have?
just have one thing, Tommy, maybe you could check on it on your way home. It's your ward, but right in front of Stacky's house, where the pole before it, there's a street light that's on 24/7. If it's
Oh,
on,
really?
it's a yellow tag, I just never wrote it down.
I never
It's the
did.
Garvin house, I think it's between Stacky's and the Garvin house.
No,
Just if you look, I mean, it's been several months. It has
Really?
not gone
Never
off.
saw
Yeah, there's another one around here the same way. I don't remember where it is now, but I've seen that now that you mention
Yeah,
it.
it's never off. I mean, I don't know if we pay for that light.
that's
It's a
a
flat
state road, right?
We pay them a flat
Yeah,
rate.
you wouldn't pay for it if it stayed on, you pay for it. It's worse when they don't come on.
Oh, that's when you
You're
say.
still paying
That's
for
when
it
the lights
they
go
don't
up.
come on.
Well, I don't,
Get no light out.
just bringing it up, just. to
But
be-
no, we can have someone check that, they're on lights all the time, we
Well,
have
the
a
same we
hard
do
time
get the
keeping
poll
up on
number,
lights
we
or something.
report
I
it,
bet.
just like we do the burnout ones.
So what's the standard procedure, to report a pole light that doesn't go off?
He just called in, and the reason he called in, cause then he gives them something to charge their time to when they send it to the truck, you know what I mean? Got something to work off of anymore, we gotta have something all the time
All right.
to
I mean,
charge time to.
do you wanna take care of it? You want us to make a call?
I'll get the pool number and a report like we do,
Yeah.
just like they do.
I mean, I'll tell them ahead of time, but yeah,
Yeah.
I can have, but they'll have to have flags probably if it's where I think it is. Sometimes they can get off, right? If it's right there close to Snacks, they might be able to get off.
It's right on
It's
the
on
border.
They might be able to get off there.
Tell the judge.
Yeah, we didn't do a water committee report. I wanted to ask about the,
Did I circumvent you?
that's
Sorry.
okay, buddy.
Sorry about that.
Wanted to ask about the progress on looking at the water sewer rates. And we're now into the third month of the city charging us more
I don't
and
think
us
they
not.
started charging us yet. I think there was like a 45 day after theirs went into effect before we got charged. I think. Tom, can you enlighten us on that?
I can't remember,
Oh.
I can't remember the date. I can just tell you that Jamie's worked up some preliminary figures, sent them to me. I was on vacation, and I believe she is now. So,
Okay.
within the next couple of weeks, I plan on start doing the ordinance tomorrow.
Okay, thanks, man.
To come up with, it looks like it's gonna be in the neighborhood of 55%.
Increase?
Yep. That's what we got from the city of Wheeling. In order to stay solvent, you're gonna have to do the same thing. I don't want you to hold me to that, but I'm saying
No, I
in the area of that.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, any other new business to go? Mark?
You brought up Roger's project down there. I see they paved the
Yeah,
entrance.
and
Now,
and I asked him, I said, because it this page like a couple days before that or so. I said, who did that? He said, Clue. I said, oh, okay. And then he goes on telling me that he does accounting work and he does their work and everything. That and $1.25 gets you a cup of coffee somewhere. But I don't mean to be nasty about it, but you know, it's one of these things that you know, we know who Klug is and they've done work for us before, but that's not the point. He needs to get a building permit and also pay B&O tax on that portion.
okay, back to where I was. We gotta keep in mind, that is basically a subdivision now. There's 5 buildings with 3 homes in each, townhouses. That road, if he wants to come to us and us to salt that road, it's no different than,
Boy, he's got three condos and they're like double. In other words, there's 2
right?
for
Well,
his
what I'm
one
saying
condo.
is, is he expecting us to maintain the road in the future? He had no engineering, he didn't follow there's no curbing, we didn't check it,
Yep.
da-da-da-da-da.
What's he doing with the
Just
water runoff?
exactly like up at,
It's just a strip of asphalt.
yeah,
He
and,
has his little
but
slag
just
in
be
it.
aware, when he comes and says, wanna take it over, we didn't engineer the road.
That's right. That's just like up at Castle Inn.
Right.
Same thing. We approved the water and sewer because we were involved in that. But come first part of December that year, that's when Greg had it done.
But we're not gonna scrape that road and salt that road.
Well, that's why we don't maintain the road up in Castle Inn now.
Right, well, just
And
so
you
we all remember what we're saying here. Things get forgotten. And he needs to be, he doesn't need to be aware of that until it's too late, cause he should've presented a plan to you.
Yep.
And we have a simple form that tells them how to build a road and get it inspected. And there's no curbing, we don't know what the
Yep,
drainage is like.
Well, I say it's just stone in there and
Private
asphalt
drive,
and
as far as
stone.
I'm
It's
Yeah,
nice
exactly.
down
It's a private drive.
Yep.
It's like Rivers now, that's private. So what I think, we don't have any responsibility unless we annex that property, right, as a village.
We're not doing that.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's it.
Unless they come to us and say they're building a road and get their inspections along the way and we approve the plan and plan on taking it over.
That's the
They
process.
get ahead of themselves and I guarantee you they're gonna be knocking on the door, will you scrape this and salt it, you know?
Mhm.
Especially, I hear he's gonna put 60-something of them in.
Well, he's talking all
Yeah, I
kinds
know,
of things, yeah.
I know.
Yeah, and that's the reason why I was trying to tell him, we need to see your plans in writing, you know,
Ignorance of the law is no excuse.
that's true.
Rule number 1.
So is he violating any of our ordinances that you know of?
No, not that I know of, other than we haven't seen any building plans
On any of the buildings.
on any
Well,
of the
then he is
buildings.
violating.
That's my point.
Wait a second,
That's
I
why
take
we
that
have
back, I
rules.
had our building
Exactly.
inspector go up there and look at this,
You haven't seen plans
and
on
he
it.
basically told me that they are okay as to,
So, you know, a subdivision consists what, TC? 3 or more homes, or over 3, and what are we considering a home? And did he need a subdivision approval there, whether the road's private or not? I don't know.
I can't answer that right now.
You expect us to do it?
I'd have to look at the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I can tell you this, I do work for Roger. He's a client of mine. So I don't want to get put in the middle.
Yeah, well, that's fine, as
But
long as we're aware.
I will see that Roger complies with what he should comply with.
Right.
And I'm telling you, he's an outstanding individual.
Well, that
He
doesn't
will.
mean whether he's nice, mean, or what. Business is business on our end. We don't care what he's like.
He will comply with whatever he needs to do.
But I mean, all I see is 3 buildings, 9 residences. And why is that excluded from a development anywhere else off of any of our other in the village? It needed a plat plan approved.
Yeah, I'm not even aware of those residences.
Well, they're there, they've been there forever. You probably passed them up several times, but they're there, and I'd like it checked into. If you're not able to do it, I understand your conflict of interest. We'll pay to have someone else do it.
What I'm saying is.
I understand
I'll
fully.
contact him and tell him what's been brought up
Okay,
here.
great. We'll be waiting on that one. I don't know how we watch buildings rise up on one guy, next guy we break his neck, you know what I mean? It just doesn't make sense.
That Char House put a great deck on. I don't know that anything there was ever.
We all drive by it every day. I mean, I get tired of calling. This big stuff. This ain't little $100 wash your deck job,
that's right.
okay?
Where does B&O and what, building permits, whose job does that fall under in the village?
I do believe with law enforcement, they should ride by and check. I do believe, don't they, the police check on the building permits?
Do what now?
The police department, don't they check on the building permits?
Normally, we find something out in the office and we have them go out, and they usually come back. Either Rusty brings it back in, or they usually get them if we know where they're doing. They send them out. He basically shuts them down until they come in the office. And we've done that. It's a shame we have to go that far because, and then
It is.
Well, there's a few instances where that's not happening, so we just need to make sure that that's happening now.
another sweet trick is on the weekends, there's a lot of unmarked pickup trucks up here doing work. And that's the reason they're unmarked, because they don't want to be identified. And we don't police that much, I guess, on weekends that we do during the week. We're gonna have to develop another policy. to
Well,
catch
policies don't do any good if they're not being enforced. I mean, you can make policies till you're blue in the face. They don't help if they're not being
That's right.
enforced. It's like the fireworks law in the city of Wheeling. I saw 150 videos of people letting off fireworks 5 minutes before Wheeling's thing. They make laws, they don't do any good unless they're enforced. It doesn't do any good for us to make new policies if they're not gonna be enforced.
Well, why have them if you're not gonna enforce them too?
That's
It's
what I
not
just-
like it's a new law either. This has been the same forever, ever since
Right.
I've been here.
And that's the point. We don't have to make new
Yeah, we don't
anything.
have
We
to.
just have to enforce what we already have on the
Right.
books. So, how does it come to you? Do you direct the police to go out to a new?
Usually the girls, they get the information and,
They
if
send
somebody
them.
calls in or something, the information comes in from various directions.
Okay.
And yes, I've also had the police go, I might come in and sometime today I'll go by something that, and then I'll check with the girls, do we have a building permit? Yes or no? And if it's no, then to get Rusty, being he's daytime policeman, get him out there to take care of that. And a lot of times the girls have that taken care of before I even get in there sometimes. Efficient.
So So what do we wanna do about this Roger character? I
Well,
mean,
we got it. I mean, TC's gonna,
He'll report back.
yeah, he'll report back and,
All right.
and let him know what he needs to make sure that he does, and then we'll wait for the plan, right? I spoke out of turn there, I apologize.
That's not I'm just stating what I see every day. I have nothing to do with zoning, it's not an issue until you need a variance or something. That's what I'm just saying, we all watched 3 buildings go up. Every single one of us. There's nobody gonna tell me they didn't see it. And does it take a phone call from a resident? How about your eyes? Do you instruct the policeman to look, especially a commercial development? You know,
That's too easy to hide.
I mean, I can call every time I see it, something going on, but, you know, is it my job solely? I cannot believe that they don't have it. They didn't have one building permit to build them places.
I'd have to check on that, I'm not sure.
I think they did,
Yeah, I
in
think
some
they did.
sort.
Yeah,
But, yeah, you did the right thing. You told him, hey, look, we got rules up here. You know, we're not out in the county. We need to furnish him, now that he's been a problem, furnish him with every bit of rules we have, and then it's on him.
I think
Again,
that's fair. We need to educate him on the rules, regulation, ordinances, and
Right, he
then
needs
make sure he
education.
abides. That's all. But we can let Tom talk to him first.
Yeah, so certainly. But
I'm
I,
not
my
aware
po-
of it. I'm not aware of the buildings you're talking about. I haven't been by that place in
Okay,
a year and a half.
So above the old
2 years.
Ernie's, there's a road above where they've cut out the hillside and they've built 3 homes. 3 duplexes. And they've paved a road and they're building upwards of 60 more behind it.
so they say.
3 are already up.
But there's been no plans. There's 9 residences built, 3 buildings. They're great, but let's get something straightened out over here, because it's done. That's how long the time span's been. It's been a year.
Was the last one Michael's Way, the last time we went through that whole process? Was it Michael's Way?
I think it was, I think.
Yeah, maybe
Red
it was
Fox.
Red Fox.
Yeah, we don't even know. I mean, technically, we don't even know what he built. It's none of our business. It's on private property.
Are they subject to setbacks? Are they subject to distances
That's my
between
question.
houses?
I don't know.
you said 9, there's only like 3.
There's 3
there, but-
buildings,
there
3
were
in
3
each.
buildings, but then there were like 2 on each, but like.
There's 3 in
living in
each.
the garage.
There's
3 families in
and
each one?
2 will be leased, 1 will be owned in each. That's what I was told by the builder, who I happen to know.
Okay, I thought there was like 3 families, 3 condos, and each condo was like 2 buildings, living in the garage.
I thought it was 3 in each. Could be 2 in each, which would be 6 residences.
Yeah, I thought there was
Who's
just
the
like
builder?
one family in
The
each
builder
condo.
is, I don't know the people that own the new hair salon building, not Mike, the other 2, Butch Blattner. Lou Blattner, or Butch Blattner's is what they call him, and something Howard, not Joe, his brother.
Corey.
So, they built the buildings.
Butch Blattner, who's the other one?
Howard's the last name,
Is it Corey?
and
Corey Howard.
I don't know. I know his brother, but I don't know him. I happened to run into Butch one time in the grocery store, saw him up there, and he told me what the deal was with that. 2 will be leased, 1 will be owned for some reason. That's the way they do it.
Well, you think nothing else, they would have had to get some kind of permit for the water and sewage. Fire
Well,
plugs
you
that
know,
need to be
no,
in
one of the
there.
other reasons we speak up now is, you know what's coming. Is that gonna be a public lane or a private lane?
We're gonna have to put a street light.
And if
on
you
that
messed
road.
up
Yeah.
and pre-paved that, then that's tough. You know,
Well,
we're
that's,
trying to help,
that's the reason I asked to have drawings, so we can.
but it's
get
been
into
a
football.
year, you know,
No, this was just happened last week.
no, the buildings have been going up for almost a year. And that's the time when you see a machine or something being built, you step in, you say, to help the village. Hey, here's our requirements. Are you gonna you interested, or are you gonna,
Oh, I think if I look at my
Tread
files,
backwards.
I had our building inspector from so go up there.
yeah, but that's different than what we're saying. you know, what are you building? Are you building a development? Do you plan on us taking over the road? Do we need a development plan, a plot plan? We don't know.
That's true, we don't know
I'm
what.
just saying, but that's the time to do it, when you see it happening.
Okay.
Yeah, his dozers are running up there right now, every day, so I know he's making more land to put more homes or structures in
Yeah,
there.
I'll keep a closer eye, because we get, when they apply for, temporary service, that should be I mean, I'm under the assumption they got what they need, but I can always, help out a little bit on that, and when I see that temporary service comes up, because that's usually pretty early on, I have to bring it to someone's attention, because I mean, there's no way I know when I'm up there looking at the job, whether they got everything done right or not.
Yeah, I don't know. It goes by
But I mean, that
lanes.
might help a little bit, I'm not saying.
And you
Yeah,
know,
right.
we also, Tim asked whose ward, I said it goes by lanes, so no one would be in anybody's ward yet, but did we ever decide where,
Daisy Fields.
Daisy Fields, whose ward that's gonna be in? That was
I
way
don't
back.
know
We
if
need to,
ever did.
we need to resolve that.
Well, it's probably,
We
we'll
talk
look at
about it,
all the
but-
wards then, if that be the case.
No, we got a new lane, we need to figure out whose ward
I
it
think
is.
Because it connects to,
I think it should
Not-
be the
not
one
just
that has the least
decide.
amount of people. If one of them two wards are smaller, then that ought to be a consideration.
well, and if you look at it too, I feel like the majority of the houses are closer to Bay Tree right now.
They are.
But I get what you're saying.
They are.
We probably should
I
have
don't
done
have no
that
idea how
at the
they
time
were made
of,
out.
I'm sorry.
Oh.
time to do that is at the time of approval of the
Right.
plat. Okay, this will be in so-and-so's ward. So when all the questions come about, they can also address them, you know what I mean?
Right now, I've
Hindsight.
seen a chart here where the streets and lanes are in what ward? You know,
Right, they go by streets and lanes
Yes.
rather than areas. So Daisy Field
Yeah, that's a new name. That's
is
a new
new,
road.
and we talked about it once, but we do need to assign whose ward it is. We could do it right now, just to get it over with. So when you get a call, you can say, this is your concern.
So which two words are we speaking of? Aaron's and somebody else's?
Aaron's and Steve's.
All right.
Which one's bigger?
Guys wanna arm wrestle or something?
Which one's what?
Aaron's
Tim's
ward,
getting the
which
list
is
right
Bay
now
Tree,
of lanes.
and then Steve's ward, which is Wolf, and wonder which one's bigger.
Tim's getting the list right
We could,
I almost think Ford would be bigger, but I don't know. I'm just guessing.
You wanna do this? Doesn't matter. So Ward 3 has a section of Chapel and the Boulevard, Bay Tree, Forest Park, Mount Lebanon, Cedar, Marsh, and Renaissance. Ward 4 has Briarwood, Clara Street, Milton Lane, Redwood Lane, Shortwood Circle, Winterford Knoll, Seacrest Woods, Miller Place, Montgomery Drive, Robb Way, Sinclair Lane, and Wolf Drive, and Wolf Estates and Zion Lane.
well,
There's a lot more lanes coming off of Wolf Estates than there is the third ward, because
So-
it's just a big circle, basically.
Sheer number of
houses.
yeah, doing a tally, Ward 4 is bigger, but Shortwood Circle has 3 houses on it.
You know, being that the water drains towards Bay Tree, maybe that ought to be
The concerns are gonna come to that side.
the
That's a
same
great point.
council.
That's a great point. He makes a good point.
Yeah.
Took my chair off.
You got any more?
Shoot the light.
Yeah, pass it around. I mean, I'm okay with that. If you guys,
What do you
I mean,
think
we're,
about that, Don?
I hate to
No, I-
decide your fate, but.
No, I
Well,
think,
it don't make a difference to me.
no, I think that's a good decision, put it in the third ward.
You know, I said, we ought to probably take a look at everything. Look where Tim is over there, look how Macaulay Estates is, and to yours too. It's okay to do one, but why don't we do all of them? Make sure that,
Redo them all,
well, make sure that one guy's not overloaded with.
they're balanced. Yeah, that'd be a thing to do, but I would consider making a motion to apply Daisy Fields to the Bay Tree third ward.
I would say.
I think we could do that.
Right now.
Yeah, no.
And then
Make it all
that's solved, but we could go, I would
Yeah.
agree with you, take a look at all of them,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think we need to get a list of,
amount of homes.
not only that, a list out, when, next time we send a letter, I think it is imperative that we send, the list of lanes and what ward they're in and who the councilman is. We don't have to give any phone number details, but at least who they are, because I can't, when I was out campaigning last year, not one person knew who their councilman was. Not one. Everyone asked me, I'm in the 3rd ward over, I'm in Bay Tree, and I'm over on Chapel, and I'm not digging any councilmen or anything, but people genuinely don't know. I'm over in the 2nd ward, and people are saying, oh, is this the 7th ward? People don't know. I think it's important that with new residents and new people moving in, we get that list out of, hey, this is your councilman. If you need something, give a call to the office, and they'll get you in touch with your
It'd
councilman.
be easy to do.
Yeah. Well, just like what Tim was reading from, that's an ordinance that shows what districts that is, and you would have to change the ordinance, amend the ordinance to, when you add the new, streets and lanes that just keep
I'd be
cropping up.
willing to help calculate the amount of homes in each, if the girls would probably wanna do it, but I'd be willing to help.
Well,
Yeah, well, we ought to have several.
in the meantime, I'd like to make a motion to add Daisy Fields to Ward 3.
Second.
Okay. That's fine, but we need to also keep in mind that when we do that, then we're gonna have to change the ordinance to add that and the others too at the same time. That's why I'm saying
Can
instead,
add that to the motion?
if we have to amend the ordinance,
Yes.
Thank you.
we ought to do it all at one time. I mean,
Well,
go ahead.
that might take a while,
yeah.
and meanwhile, these people on Daisy Fields are unrepresented.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Unrepresented,
Exactly.
and that shouldn't be.
Yeah, no, that's fine. If you wanna do one at a time, but then before we change the ordinance, because the ordinance should be changed. Okay,
Motion's been made.
was there a motion on the floor to make the change? So-
Yes,
Yes.
that was second.
Okay, you got that, Matt?
TC, how do we actually word this? Because are you gonna write up a new ordinance for this, or what are we gonna do here?
When they decide what they're gonna do.
So if this motion
We'll have-
passes,
we'll have to
then
amend
we're
the
gonna have to
ordinance,
write a new
but for the
ordinance.
purposes of tonight, the motion is made to add Daisy Fields to, I think it was Ward 3.
Yes.
That's all that's needed for tonight.
Okay.
And then in the
When
future,
they-
if we want
When
to.
they meet and they reorganize their wards and by using the statistical data or whatever they want to use, then we'll amend the ordinance.
Okay, so currently at this state, we do not need to amend any ordinance, we can just simply designate
Daisy
that.
Field is a new entity, we're just gonna put it in a ward where they believe it should be.
Okay, thank you, TC.
Tom, I have a question.
Yeah.
Can you modify a ordinance with a vote that we're gonna do? Or doesn't it take a ordinance to change or amend an ordinance?
It's an ordinance to change an ordinance.
Exactly.
Right. What you're doing tonight is simply allocating a new parcel or a new part of the village to where it should be.
All right, so we're not breaking any of the rules or regulations by modifying an ordinance without an ordinance.
I don't believe so, no. Not for the
Okay.
purposes, not for the limited purpose that it's being
Because Daisy
done.
Fields wasn't in the original ordinance.
Maybe we'll end up with like 3 different motions, adding 3, and then once we get enough of them, then refer it to Tom to amend the original ordinance then.
Yeah, when you decide what it's gonna be, if you just say, well, we're not gonna change anything, and we're gonna add Daisy Fields, I'll amend the ordinance, put Daisy Fields into that,
The proper-
ward.
That work.
But it sounds to me like some of you have some thoughts of moving some things around. So we're not gonna change, it takes 2 readings of an ordinance. So you're talking about a month, generally, between, the first and second meeting, so once you come to a consensus of what you want, if you're gonna change any of it, then we will amend that ordinance.
All right, I was just concerned that it wasn't gonna be legal if we add these lanes to the different wards, but if it is, that's fine, I'm in agreement, I think they need to be represented, so.
Yeah, I believe you should do that, and we're gonna, with the acknowledgement that we're gonna amend the ordinance, either to just include that, or the other matters that you want to include in it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, how about if we get maybe several councilmen together and get a committee and look at the overall picture so we can, have more of these add-tos, especially when we have new lanes. There's another one over there with Daisy Fields. It's, Aaron, what's that, Rosie? well, Daisy Fields comes down so
There's a
far,
two
but,
more.
and goes around, but then when you cut off where you wanted, talking about putting a yield sign.
Is it not all I thought we decided that was all Daisy Fields because Red Fox Estate.
Well, Red Fox
changed
Estates,
it.
that's, I guess, the area, but there's, I think it came through, 911 or something.
There's
and
two different
They
names on it.
dictated the names.
Daisy and something else.
Oh,
I'd have to-
not that I was.
I'd have to dig that out, it's Rosie something, I've got it in my notes somewhere, but that's another one, so I don't know if there's any houses on there right now or not.
I haven't seen a street sign for anything.
No, we don't have one.
Right, that's what I'm saying, so I don't think there would be any homes
Okay, well,
on that section.
911, I think, did provide a name for it, and they get together with the post office and all, so, I mean, while we're doing it, I think it's a good idea to, consolidate this stuff and get them in the right wards, so, but I'd like to, get a couple of you guys involved in looking at the overall picture.
I can volunteer to be on.
I would love to help.
Okay, Mark.
We would need a map, a map,
Yeah.
a good map and,
I feel like it would be important for everyone to be here just to see
yeah, workshop.
what's gonna be in the new
And
councilman's
I
ward.
have seen something somewhere similar to what Tim was just reading out of the ordinance book and showed, I don't know if there's additional names other than what's in the ordinance or not on this sheet. I'll have to dig that out. Because that's,
Yeah, there could be little bits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
this is something that years ago that somebody started on it. Margaret Kraus, you remember that gal? She lived on the corner of Elm Lane. She was into different things for the village, but she started on it. Of course, she's long gone. But they were gonna, I don't know, redistrict the wards or get the new street names in the proper wards, so. Okay, well, we have a motion on the floor. Let's, any further question on the motion? If there be no further question on the motion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Same sign, opposed? Motion carries. Okay, let's get together and I'll dig some stuff out that I know of, and I'd like to see the rest of them done that way, but that Rosie, I can't remember what it was, Aaron.
Not Red Fox. is it?
No, Red Fox is sort of the general area.
We had a
but
job up
this-
there and it had.
This came from, 911 and the post office, because those two entities get together and start telling you that's what your street's gonna be, so. Okay, any other new business to come before council tonight? Mr. Steve,
Yes, sir.
do you have something, any citizen wishing to?
Oh, I'm here, I gotta say
Okay.
something, you know that.
Oh, okay, if you're not.
I mean, there's two opinions. The village can't stop anybody from moving dirt, we can do that anyways. But that man can't pour a footer or dig a footer without a plat plan, whether it's private, whether he's gonna sell it, whether he's gonna rent it, it doesn't matter. He can't build anything until you have a approved plat plan from this council. It's that simple. If he starts digging to build something, tell him he has to stop. It's pretty cut and dry.
We haven't done that with other entities.
It's that easy.
There's another building going up that we didn't.
How about, can you reflect on the city of Whitting's water rates? When did they go?
I don't follow the rates.
Okay, I didn't know.
just work there.
Sometimes you know
Doesn't
those
matter
things.
to me how much they
Building
charge.
permit.
Okay,
You can just build anything.
And one other thing, since I'm here, one of the ideal things for that light would be the photo cell and a timer.
Residences.
You set the photo cell to turn it on when it gets dark, you set the timer for it to go off at
Yep.
midnight, whatever time you want it to go off. There your problem solved. You don't have to have somebody throwing switches.
yep,
Like I said, the photo cell will turn it on when it gets dark, the timer will turn it off whenever you tell it to turn it off.
right.
But the problem, Steve, with that, I see, is that's gonna occur every single night, every single day of
Sure,
the year.
you want some light over there, it'll stop any vandalism and stuff, but that, I mean, that's just,
Yeah.
or you can just leave it dark.
Well, our resolution was a switch with a timer, so if we know we need the light to turn on, and then you can forget about it, and it's gonna go out. But I said earlier, I have a problem with running lights all night long, dusk to dawn, as they say, for no good reason, because we're paying for the electricity.
Yep.
Plus the park's supposed to be closed.
Just an
at
opinion.
certain
Yeah, that's right,
hours.
it's close. Yeah.
Hey, Steve, could you sign in since you did, so I can record your,
You got a paper? Yeah, I'll get it. That's all.
Okay, thanks, Steve. Okay, if there be no other business to come before council tonight, I would entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Signify by aye.